Voila, and I believe we are good to go. So, hello everybody. I'm Paul Sokol. Nice to see you today here, and I'm gonna actually share something super cool with you today, which is talking about free gifts or lead magnets. You know, the idea of giving away something for free and using that to try and bring in customers and clients. Whatever the word is that you use here. But this is a really unique and distinct training because it's actually not talking about any particular technology or tool or anything like that. It's holistic. It covers some things that you want to think about for really any kind of business. Again, anytime you're doing a free gift or a lead magnet, you're going to want to ask yourself these 7 things, these 7 questions, and we're going to get to it in just a moment. I want to share with you why I want to share this with you today because I've worked with a lot of businesses. I've seen people doing, giving away free stuff here, free stuff there, and they'll put a whole lot of effort into it, and it doesn't work. They're not getting the results they want, or it's not bringing the types of customers they want, or in some cases, nobody even cares, and it's a shame, and it's really dejecting. I think that's the right word. It makes you not want to kind of go ahead. It's harder to push ahead, and as you'll see as we go through this training, these questions aren't anything mind-blowing here. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain a little bit why they're important to consider. So even if you're like we can cover the whole spectrum of business. So you can be like a B2B, business to business, doing services, right? So let's say you're doing like commercial mortgages or whatnot. That's what you're selling. And then let's say we have a B2C product that is, let's say you're a band and you're selling an album, for $10, something like that, right? So the whole spectrum, and your business probably falls somewhere in between there or roundabouts there. What we're going to talk about, these 7 questions, really is applicable to any kind of lead magnet for any kind of offer that you're making here. So for example, let's use for this training in the commercial mortgage example, let's say that they're doing like a free report or some kind of a worksheet, right? And let's say for the band that's trying to sell an album, they've got a demo, right? That's the lead magnet they're using, or the free gifts that they're using to try and get people in here. All right, cool. So that's kind of set the framing of why I'm sharing this with you, and I'm so passionate about it because really these questions aren't rocket science, and they can really help with the relationship when you consider them. So let's go ahead and look at this first thing here. So at the end of this, actually, and I guess right now, you're going to be able to get this rubric, which has these 7 questions on it here. I'm going to just go into a little more detail in each one of these, though. So the first question you want to ask yourself when it comes to a free gift or a lead magnet is it solving a specific problem? So does it provide a solution to a specific problem for your prospect here? Too often you'll see people that give out something that really doesn't have any value, or it's very minimal value. It's not providing a whole lot to that target audience here. So in the case of like the commercial mortgage thing, if they were to release a lead magnet that's some kind of industry report that only commercial mortgage people care about, it's not going to, consumers aren't really going to care about that, or their target isn't necessarily going to care about that. In the case of a band with, an album, the specific problem is that the person hasn't heard your music yet, and so that's a kind of a generic problem. In the next question, I'll actually talk about how you could make it a little more specific than just that. But I guess a demo is solving the specific problem if I haven't listened to you yet. When you're looking at your free gifts or your lead magnets, you really want to make sure that you are solving a specific problem, as specific as possible here. And that couples really well with the second question that you need to ask yourself about a lead magnet or a free gift, which is the magnitude of this problem, or like how big is this thing, at least for your target audience here. Ideally, you want to be helping them with something that keeps them up at night. Like it's a nightmare level kind of a problem. It's not just like, I stubbed my toe. It's kind of a, minor annoyance. It's really a big deal. So now it makes a little more sense probably why when a band is just giving out a demo, that's not a super huge problem. Yeah, I haven't heard you, but it's not a massive problem here. Now, what you could do, and this is where these questions really create some cool possibilities, is you can do something like instead of, a demo, maybe it's like a workout CD of new tracks that you're giving away for free. So now you're solving the problem of, well, I don't have anything to listen to, when I'm at the gym or whatnot. If that's your target audience, of course, your targets better than I do. But the idea is if you can be really specific with the problem that you're solving in your lead magnet, Fantastic. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, man, my lead magnets aren't doing anything, don't make yourself wrong. There's nothing wrong here. That's why you're here at this training today. And definitely stick around for the whole thing to get all of these. Because you can easily turn around and improve what you got going on. In some cases, just reframing it. So in the case of, like, again, the commercial mortgage thing, maybe it's not a report on the industry. Maybe it's like a worksheet. Maybe it's a worksheet that will empower the person in the business, because we're talking about B2B mortgages, business mortgages. In this example, the worksheet actually helps them have the conversation in their business about it, and that's a specific problem. Oh, how am I going to talk about X, Y, and Z? Here's a worksheet. So there's an idea there. And so that's the second question. And again, for those just joining us, these 7 questions are part of a free gift effectiveness rubric, and that's kind of what I'm kind of sharing here, going like a deep dive into each one of those. And so you can go ahead and grab that right up there whenever you want. And let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to look at the third question you want to ask yourself with regards to any free gift, and that is, realistically, is there anything else that the prospect has to buy in order to get the value out of what you're offering them? And I'm sure that you've seen examples of where this is a bad lead magnet in the world, where they give you something, but you have to buy a whole bunch of stuff to even be able to use it. It's kind of like, hey, here's $50 onboard credit of your cruise ship. I have to actually buy the cruise in order to get that value, is kind of the point. Ideally, there isn't any additional investment for the problem that you're helping them solve with your lead magnet. They can do it right away. Or if it's like a minimal investment. So for example, if I'm handing out a CD with some tracks, maybe it's like, a workout mix or something, I'm assuming they have access to a CD player or something like that. Again, in the case of the worksheet, they probably have access to the spreadsheet or the doc format or whatever you're going to go ahead and deliver it in. But really, you want to think about that. If in order for someone to get the value out of what your lead magnet or your free gift is promising, do they have to invest a whole lot more? And ideally, it's not. And in some cases, it's unavoidable, but just something you want to kind of think about and noodle on here. And so that is the third question that you really want to kind of consider whenever you're looking at any kind of free gift or a lead magnet, because reality is reality here. If you can give something for free, but they have to spend X amount to get the value, it's not that awesome of a lead magnet in that case. And like I said, sometimes it's unavoidable, but it's just something to consider. So let's go ahead and look at this fourth thing. This is interesting because this starts to bring in the social aspect of it, which is, what is the likelihood that this is going to just be brought up in conversation? The free gift or the lead magnet you're giving out, how likely is it people are going to talk about this with their friends and their family? Now, maybe you've never thought about that. Maybe this just blew your mind. Again, if you're looking at these questions and you're like, man, my lead magnets and free gifts don't do any of this, that's okay. Again, you're aware of this, you can make improvements, and that's what the rubric is there to help you out with. So, obviously, the more likely someone is to talk about what you got going on, the better of a lead magnet it is. So, looking at the example again of a band that they have an album and they're giving away a demo for free. If they position it as like a workout, that's kind of a little more conversation worthy than just, hey, it's a demo. And if we're doing the worksheet for, again, the B2B example here, maybe you go a little above and beyond than just a worksheet. Maybe you actually explain what you coach them on how to talk about the worksheet again to others. Again, if you're solving a specific problem, you really want to empower them to solve that specific problem. If I was a plumber and I'm just trying to teach people how to unplug their toilets in their house, I'd really want to make sure they've got everything they need other than the plunger or whatever the case is. And the more likely you are to actually solve that specific problem in a way that they can do it kind of on their own, increases the likelihood that they're going to be talking about it. And there's ways to make things more talkable. Even in the case of the band demo, maybe there was some kind of a business card in there, some kind of bizarre sticker or something, and maybe with the worksheet, maybe they get an extra video or something that does something cool. Just think about how can you really kind of make this a conversational type of thing. And that's the fourth question here. And that little beep was Skype, and this is live, so I can't really do anything about it. It happened. Hopefully I don't get blown up with these. But anyway, that's question 4. So we're about halfway through these questions here. So again, if you're just joining us, you can go ahead and get this rubric, which has all these questions, this link above, and go ahead and, again, score your own lead magnets or free gifts using this rubric and really use it to improve what you got going on. We're going to go ahead and make your business better by improving the lead magnets, the free gifts that you give away. So, okay, and this next question is actually directly related to that, which is, how well does it position your authority? In addition to solving a problem and really creating value for someone, you want to make sure you're positioning your brand, your company as the authority. I could definitely have run this training just as effectively without any of the graphics you see, but that wouldn't be as much authority. This shows that I put a little bit more elbow grease into it and a little bit more care, because I really do care about you getting value out of this here. Of course, if you have questions and comments, go ahead and leave them. We'll do our best to answer them. There might be a delay on the little comment feed I see over here. But this is the fifth question. How does it position you as an authority? And using the example, again, I wanted to go across the whole spectrum. If you're giving people a CD that's just burned and handwritten, that's not as authoritative as even if it was like a paper label that you went and printed out. And obviously, if you're going to do actually, a printed CD, you may as well call it a proper release or something like that. But that positions your authority a little bit more. And when it comes to like the worksheet thing or B2B stuff, it could be as simple as just putting a really awesome graphic or illustration on the front page of this thing, just really world class, and then maybe some fantastic about us, or just something that just positions your authority. I've seen lead magnets out there that are killer. They really do a good job, and it does nothing